No, guys, wait. I swear, it's cool. Thanks, man. All right, you can begin. Cool. Alrighty, thank you all for coming to my portfolio critique today. As you can see on the screen, my name is Jacob Caldwell, and I am a creative technologies and finance double major. There's a picture of me taken by the lovely Zane, because he can make anyone look good in a photo. So, but a little bit about how I came to creative tech is I came in declared as a CRT major, and most people, whenever they come into college, they don't know exactly what they want to do. But however, I saw Zane and CRT 330, the vehicles class, on display in the Mac gym one day whenever I was coming up to visit my sister, who also graduated from Barry. I was like, that is one of the coolest things I've ever seen, which was a little chibi cart. You're able to drive it around. It was just really cool. And I was just fascinated with it. And I was like, that's what I want to do. Because I've done some similar like electronic stuff in the past, but nothing to that scale. It was just something that was really interesting. So my portfolio theme, though, going into my creative tech career was creating woodworking art with modern methods. And so that can look like anything from laser cutting to using the ShopBot or designing stuff in Fusion 360, which I was able to use to push that to those different mediums because I have a really big appreciation for woodworking art. And so there's always your classic methods of what Dr. Dowd does with lathe work or people doing really intricate things by hand with carving, or they can do them just by really precise measurement. However, as technology is adapting and shifting, I was wanting to be able to capitalize on some of my interests as well as continue to contribute to the woodworking art field. And so that looks like modern methods, like we can see on the screen here. So the first project that really encapsulated this and introduced me to that world of woodworking art was inside Chris's class, CRT 320, which was CNC. And so what I was able to do in that class was a project called Campfire Stool. And so what Campfire Stool was is it's an ergonomic seating device that you can create to have different shapes on different sides. You can see there's a little curve there, or the shaky hands from the adrenaline, and straight edge there. And what that allows is you to put it on different surfaces, and then you're able to have comfortable seating depending on what the frame is. And so this first picture right here is a foam core prototype of what the CNC out piece would look like. And so we're able to take these little spacers from inside, as well as put something on there that was meaningful to us. So in my case, I put this little Apex Legends logo, which was a hugely popular video game at the time, like an arena shooter that I was really into as well. And so it was something that I thought looked cool and would go well. So another picture right here is inside of Fusion 360, which was a big part of how I was able to create all these different pieces, was you're able to simulate what the cutout would look like. So all these little blue lines in there, that's the head of the spindle on the CNC machine that's able to cut these out, so you can see exactly what material that you're going to be using, if there's going to be too much waste, if you can rearrange, and different things like that to sort of maximize your space, especially using what we had before with the Caldwell, which was extremely slow and you weren't able to attach the vacuum. So I had to stand there for 4.5 hours like this, just vacuuming up all the dust from this MDF that probably gave me some medical condition, but it's okay. But each of these pieces, I cut out 10 of them, and you can see how they're arranged with the spacers in between, and we put threaded metal rods in there, and then that way it was very, very strong, and spray painted it at the end. So I just did white for the middle ones, and then red to match the Apex logo on the outside. And here's a picture of the finished product. You can see the Apex logo in the middle. And then one thing that I did, though, was because the opposite sides are mirrored, I did have a separate file for the other side so it would flip the logo so it would be symmetrical. But that's the finished product right there. And so I was pretty proud of that for being a first CNC project. But moving on to something that was a little bit different for a different medium. So I did CNC, and then also part of one of Chris's classes for Hackathon was I had always liked the 7 wonders of the world, and one of them that I really liked being into woodworking and also some gardening stuff that I had little plants in my dorm room was the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. So this is Walmart Babylon, Everybody knows that if you want something cheaper, you go to Walmart and you get the great value version. And so I wanted to create the great value version of the hanging gardens, which this means fake succulents that are about the size of your thumb with copper wire from like a craft store. So this is what I was able to put on to Walmart Babylon, which I wanted to create like a clean, minimalist space that also incorporated those methods. And so I created a wooden box, and in the back were rabbited slots, so you can potentially put different backgrounds. I didn't create any extra backgrounds since this was for Hackathon. However, it'd be easy to expand upon because this is just a piece of plywood that's been laser cut on. So you can see the floral engraving and design in there. And so you'd be able to take that out and change it with the seasons and do different things with that background. And it didn't even have to match the seasons. You could put pretty much whatever you want as long as you were able to laser cut it. So here's the finished product. That clean minimalist part, I did little floating shelves. Don't look at the backside of the product. That's where you'll see the screws and everything that goes into it. But you're able to put two different floating shelves. I suspended with little eye hooks, the little plants so they could swing and they could actually be hanging gardens. So the third project, and this is really what springboarded me into the idea for my capstone. This was also a part of Hackathon. If you can't tell, that was really important to me. But illusion of time. And so you can see each of these pieces right here are going to be part of this geometric illusion that I wanted to create. So this is a rough sketch of what the parts would look like together. And then this is all the trapezoids from this piece cut out. And so what I wanted to do was create that into a woodworking art piece that had illusion incorporated into it. However, I'd seen a lot of those around, and I wanted to do something that was unique and add some sort of utility. So I decided to incorporate a clock bit into the piece itself. And so in order not to distract from the illusion, I didn't put numbers on it, and I chose a smooth sweeping motion clock, so that way you weren't distracted by the abrupt movement or the ticks. But once I cut them out and stained them, I did a dry fit right here. And so you can see like each of the cubes popping out. And so I arranged them into a slightly different shape, but this was just the dry fit as I was out on our old spray paint, like boondock, I guess is what you call it. But this is the finished product. Since it was a hackathon, it's a 4-hour sprint of just complete sort of controlled chaos. But what I was able to do was glue it down to a backer board as well as brad nail it. That's what all the little dots are. But this one ended up getting, I think it was People's Choice, and so I got a cool Dremel kit out of that, which is the hackathon prize. So I was very proud of that. But this is sort of what really got me inspired in going into my capstone, which is ingrained images, wood art, illusion, geometry, and the outdoors. And so what that looks like is stuff like this. I created this one as an interlocking squares illusion on the ShopBot. And so again, that was CNC getting to incorporate that modern method, as well as add some of the very memorabilia that people would be interested in. So that's rastered onto there with the laser cutter, as well as with laser cut acrylic covering that in translucent blue acrylic. So I really liked this piece. It was pretty clean, really small, so it was quick to produce. So I actually did 2 of these. Another one with just like a plain spray painted white center, just to have like as a trivet, something you can put on like your desk and have a plant on top of, or just have as a decorative piece. Next one that I did was a small minimalist hexagon mirror. I made another one of these without the black border, but what you can see is with each of the rectangular prisms, they're overlapping. So that was the illusion part. And then I wanted to add something that was just a little bit different. So I got some mirrored acrylic and was able to laser cut that out to make it really accurate as well. So all the wood was CNC'd, and then these were laser cut out to create this geometric illusion that had just a little bit of a unique aspect or utility to it. The next project was an expansion upon another hackathon project that I did, which was this interlocking cubes illusion. And so they always work better in low light. So if this isn't quite obvious, I suggest just squinting and tilting your head and just thinking that it looks like what I'm saying. But this is interlocking cubes, so you can kind of see them running through here, and then like this one goes behind and comes out here. But this was a commission for Zane to give to Jill for celebrating her promotion for the education department. But this one was created on the laser cutter, and then I did the border by rabbiting in slots so I could have a nice clean border. But this was an expansion of a previous iteration that I did in Hackathon. So I was really proud of this one. It turned out pretty nice, and then took these photos in our photo studio over in the other building, which was the same as like this one as well. I think this one was just on the tape. The next piece that I did to incorporate the outdoors and also stick with the illusion theme was this is a 3D render of a deer head piece that I did. It was about, I think it was about like 10 by 6 whenever it was created. So it's pretty sizable. Um, However, and I'll talk about it in just a minute, I sold this as part of my small business, which was done in tandem with Entrepreneurship 340 with Dr. Inglis, which is Intro to Entrepreneurship. But I created these like finished like a day or two before spring market and sold both. And so that's on me for lack of documentation pictures. But this looks exactly like what it would have. This is a render inside Fusion 360, which is where I designed these pieces. Um, but did an outline of a deer and then the inside outline as well. And I cut two pieces out, one out of wood and one out of acrylic, and then I just swapped the insides. So this one has rastered wood in the middle, and the other one had rastered acrylic. So I was really proud of these. And you can see that one right there and right there on the table. So this is a picture of me and my fiance at the spring market where I did ingrained images as my small business. And so I was able to expand upon some other pieces that I made. So I did like mini mountain scenes with like Starry Night incorporated in the background, this toroid illusion clock that like wraps in on itself. But this is sort of the culmination of that enterprise, and I was able to sell, I believe, 6 pieces at the spring market, and I sold more after. And right now I have 8 or 9 left, but both the deer are gone. Chris actually bought this clock right here, and so if you're all interested, I'm sure he has a picture of it somewhere. Sold all 3 of these, 2 of them at the market, and this hardwood one after the fact, and then as well as this clock and um, so how did I reach customers? That's a big part of running any business is you got to have people that want to buy your product. So if you're just making stuff and you're not selling it, then and you're wanting to run a business, you're kind of wasting your time. So the first one was word of mouth. Pretty much everyone did this for entrepreneurship. Like you got to tell people about your product to get the word out there. And so that was family, friends, other people within like creative tech. If you're putting something on Discord, just getting to show what you made. So that was a big one for getting people to actually talk about the product and sort of build up that hype that people are curious and invest in what you're creating next. And so that's really important going forward is you can't just have, a bit of nepotism with family and friends buying your things. You actually have to expand that consumer base and have more people that are willing to buy your product. So again, that's the same picture, but that's to show for the enterprise sold at spring market. And then I've already gone through those pieces. But that's, again, how I reached customers was being able to show the work there in public. I kind of got screwed over a little bit because I got put at the end of Clarabelle. And so for my market demographic, it was a little bit higher than students, but it's made for faculty, staff, and alumni. But by the time people walked down there, they already spent all their money, which was a shame because they're like, oh, that's cool. All right, have a good one. And they're walking back to their cars. So it was a little annoying, but it's okay. Another one's Facebook Marketplace. Everyone's heard of this. And yes, it's true. Everyone is a bot. So I've had one real person reach out about a product, but they haven't gotten back to me. The other ones were all spam bots created within the last 25 minutes. So that's been a bit frustrating, but I have had like decent engagement. I tested running marketplace ads so that you can do ad campaigns. So for example, the one that I did was I spent $2 a day for 3 days. And so based on the way their system works is Facebook will bid for you out of that budget to place your ad. And so I got, I think cumulative was between like 150 to 200 views that wouldn't otherwise happen. And then unique clicks was around like 20 to 25 unique clicks for individuals looking at the product. Another one was Etsy. Pretty much everyone's heard of Etsy. So this is more artisan and like crafts working. So I haven't had any engagement there. This was just to set up a shop. So I set up a shop called Ingrained Images Art, and I have one piece up there, but that's something that I'll look into to expand. I need to talk to Alston. She's done some really good stuff on Etsy. If y'all haven't seen her job and done stuff as well. Also, one of our alum, McKenna Rakes, she also did a huge business doing like scrunchies and different stuff on Etsy. So there's good resources there to really expand that. An alternative to Facebook Marketplace that I wanted to be a little bit more reliable was OfferUp. So that's kind of a combination between Marketplace and eBay. And so that's a way to reach people locally as well as offer to ship stuff across the country. So what's next? Where am I going? Where do I see myself going? So there's two main things that I'm focusing on right now. I see that Zane got really excited about this one and decided to get Chick-fil-A in honor of supporting me. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. But I'm looking to start as a support specialist within enterprise systems at Berry, doing stuff in databases, which was introduced to me through Zane and CRT 399, which was SQL. So I've really enjoyed that. It made sense. It was fun to do. And I got an email, let's see now, 40 minutes ago, that I'll be meeting next week because they want to talk to me about like actually setting that up. So HR got back to Drew Allison, one of our head guys in enterprise systems, and so I need to respond to that later and set up a time to talk about the nitty-gritty details. The other one is Chick-fil-A as an IT analyst. I have an interview on April 27th, and so what that's going to be is discussing details. So first round, to kind of screen out people, is you apply for the job. Second round was pre-recorded interview questions, and if they like that, they'll invite you to a live interview. So I'm on sort of that third stage now, just looking to see what that's all about and see if that'd be a good fit. So that's where I see myself, and so I go from there.